Um, well, in staying in the idea of energy policy, maybe segueing into the environment, of course, the question that's of particular relevance here to Utah is the disposal of nuclear waste. It's become quite controversial with the importation of nuclear waste from other countries and being stored out in our West Desert. What is your position on that development here in Utah? Should we be allowing outside nuclear waste to be stored out in our desert? What would your position be on that?
Okay. This requires some clarification at the outset. There's a difference between nuclear waste. Nuclear waste is spent nuclear fuel, perhaps the most toxic, deadly substance known to man. Spent nuclear fuel rod, if we had one here, would cause us all to die within a few minutes. Spent nuclear fuel, which is nuclear waste, is very different than Class A material, which has been safely disposed of in the state of Utah under a license granted by the state of Utah for about 20 years. One's toxic and deadly, the other one is less radioactive than my watchdog, which couldn't even be disposed of at that facility in Utah. I opposed the disposal of nuclear waste in Utah and fought against it when I worked for Governor Huntsman. The state had been fighting that battle for the better part of 10 years and losing. Governor Huntsman took office, he hired me as his general counsel, and he said, "I'm tired of losing, I want to win." I helped assemble a top-notch team of lawyers and other experts. Within 18 months, we had that battle won. Not a single shred of nuclear waste was ever brought here, nor will it be, as a result of those efforts. Class A material is something different. Class A material, once it's authorized to be brought in by a state, is a decision for the state to make, but the state can't discriminate against foreign material because that's an import decision. And import decisions under Article 1, Section 10 and Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution belong to Congress, not the states. That company that disposes of that, Energy Solutions, retained me because of my expertise in constitutional law. And notwithstanding the fact that it was an unpopular position, I represented them, and I represented them well. And we won, because the state of Utah, together with an 8-state compact, had violated that company's constitutional rights. We won that lawsuit because the Constitution was on our side, and it limited the power of that government. Most of the time, the Constitution limits the power of the federal government, which is exactly what I'll do for you as your U.S. Senator. I will represent you, and I will protect you as the Constitution protects you, regardless of whether it's popular. And I'll do it every single time, and I'll win.
This is an area where my opponent and I have a disagreement. He did fight to keep nuclear waste out of the state when he was with Governor Huntsman, and then he worked to sue the state to force the state to take nuclear waste from Italy. I fundamentally believe that it's a states' rights issue. I go back to when Yucca Mountain was being proposed in Nevada. Everybody felt like that's the place we had to store nuclear waste, and the science was there, but Nevadans did not want it. They didn't want to be burdened permanently with nuclear waste that they had to store, and it would hurt their state and the image of their state. So Nevadans fought against it, and they won on a states' rights basis. I believe Utah, in like manner, should have that same right. We are battling in the courts right now. The state lost the first round, but they've appealed to keep foreign nuclear waste out. Now, there are different levels of waste, and there is Energy Solutions, a fine company. They received a license. But the state is fighting against this because we do not want to be branded as the international dumping ground for foreign waste. Think about this. Why don't those governments want it? Why doesn't Italy or Brazil or Japan want their nuclear waste? Is there something wrong with it? Can't they store it? Why are they spending millions of dollars to send it across overseas and store it here? I think there's a problem here. I think people should take care of their own nuclear waste. If we have a nuclear power plant, we should dispose of our nuclear waste. Just like I said, I'm not anti-nuclear power, but I do believe that Utah should not become the dumping ground for foreign nuclear waste. I also think that the state has to decide on this. And if the state ultimately felt like it was in our best interest, then while I wouldn't be favorable towards storing foreign nuclear waste here, I would at least feel like the state dominated on a states' rights basis, and it was in their best interest. So I support the state, I support Governor Herbert, and the state legislature has decided that at this time, it is not in our best interest to take foreign nuclear waste, and that's what I'll fight for if I'm elected as